Okay, welcome back. This is episode 4 of this solo role playing series. Last time we uh, we got together, we played. We had these two characters, Durif, the half-orc cleric, and Bjorn, the human knight, who had gone out to the dungeon over here because they were under the impression that Bjorn's noble brother was in there. Bjorn was trying to go and find out what really happened with his brother and whether he's involved with these bandits or not. And Durif had gone in there with the intent of putting a stop to the heretics. We had found out that this dungeon here, what we thought was a bandit lair, there's something much more sinister going on. And last episode, they had gone in there and were accosted by a group of giant beetles and only barely managed to escape with their lives. So I wrote down that they got back to town, they got their XP, and they're going to rest for full HP. Now, the player's guide says, let's see, there is a section on adventure. Here we go. And specifically what I want is healing. Natural healing. For each full day of rest, characters or monsters recover 1d3 hit points. If the rest is interrupted, the character or monster will not heal that day. So let's take a look here. I remember Durif was downed completely. And Bjorn only barely managed to get him out. I seem to have written that they're back to full HP. So let's say that they rested 3 days in order to get back their full HP. If we estimate that they get 2 HP average a day, that would give them 6. So it would be more than enough to get them back to full. So let's make a note of that. Rest for 3 days. Let's start a new day here. This is day 6 now. We start at 8 a.m. Now, we didn't lose any characters from last game, so we don't need to make any new ones. But maybe there's some rumors or something that we've heard. In the meantime, I have a supplement just for this. I'll return shortly. In the meantime, we're going to light this incense. Here we go. We've got this little book called The Book of Random Tables of Quests by Matt Davids. I got this off of Amazon for $10. We're going to give it a try. So let's take a look. What do we see here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 possible categories of quests that we could go under. So let's choose it randomly. Let's see. A 3. Oh, hi Jess. Thank you so much. You just got me to my goal. Oh my goodness. That's amazing. Jess, I gotta give you some kind of reward now. That's amazing. Thank you for doing that for my channel. Oh my god, I forgot what I was trying to do. Alright, we rolled a 3. We're gonna look here. 1, 2, 3, forests, quests. Let's go to that section. Forest quest is on 22 to 29. And now we're gonna take percentage dice. And we're gonna roll that. Just keep living a good life, and that's what I really need. Oh, come on, Jess. No. I'm gonna do something for you. Because you've been so supportive of me for so long. 38. Well, that says 92 now. Let's go with 92. Because that's what the camera caught. $92. This is a rumor that we've heard. Party finds a secluded waterfall that appears to have unusual objects in the pool at the base. There's a chest with some gold and a map inside, plus several magic items. So Bjorn and Durip have heard that somewhere in the world there's this waterfall where this chest full of magic items may be. They don't know where yet, but they know it's in a forest. Let's do this. We'll take this die, and 1 starts at the top, and each number is going to count clockwise. So we'll start at town. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. South. So let's keep that here. Let's roll another die, and this is how many hexes out they believe this may be. 2. So let's get this guy right here, and we know, or we think, I don't like this pen, we're going to change that up. We'll do this one. To the south, 12 miles, because each of these hexes is 6 miles, there is rumors of a waterfall with a chest in the pool full of magic items and a map. We're going to mark that. And we'll use this pink color for now. We'll put a question mark here. And this is 3. We'll put a 3. Because we don't know what's there just yet. We'll put a 3 over here somewhere. 3. Waterfall? Waterfall. And we don't know if it's there or not. We have to go and confirm it. So Bjorn and Durif hear this rumor, and among them, we're going to roll wisdom for them both. The clear one is for Bjorn, and the pastel rainbow one is for Durif. We're going to do wisdom checks on both of them. They both succeed. Bjorn and Durif are discussing in the tavern about how they could go about getting into that dungeon. And Durif thinks it might be, well, they both think that it might be worthwhile going to the south to see if anything about this waterfall rumor is true, and if it is true, if there might be some kind of magic items there that would help them go deeper into the dungeon, that aid them in their quest. So that's what we're going to do. Today they're heading out to the south. That means we need a couple things. One, we probably need a token representing our party. And two, we probably need a method to generate the terrain, which I'm pretty sure is right here. So let's do that. We'll do this. We'll keep this right here, I think. Or maybe not. Well, you know what? Let's write down for this day what they're doing. They're heading to the south to check out this waterfall and this rumor. So let's do that. Heading to the south to investigate a rumored waterfall. All right. So we're keeping track of our notes here to make sure that we can go back and verify our adventure. It's hard to keep track of your solo adventures if you don't document it. All right. So our starting hex is a forest and a swamp. I had forgotten about that. Let's roll the d12. And we're here at swamp. So the next tile to the south are plains. So we're going to mark down that these are plains to the south. The next thing we're going to check is what's the vegetation like. Now this is light forest. We're going to roll a d12 again. That doesn't count. A 4 on light forest is dense forest. So to the south here, this is much heavier forest. We're going to represent it with 2 trees. The next thing we're going to do is figure out if there's a point of interest here. A d8, if we roll a 1, there's something here of interest. Nothing. This is a clear, empty tile for now. Let's figure out if we have a monster encounter. We're going to roll a d6, and on a 1, there's an encounter. No monster encounter. Very nice. So we're moved from... Oh, there's water, too. We have to check for that. Let's check to see if there's water. The previous hex was a river. We're going to roll a d12. I don't know if you guys can see that, so I'm going to roll it again. And that's looking like a 10. Okay. So a 10 on river. The river continues. So let's get out a blue. Let's roll a d6 to see if it's going to continue, what direction it goes in. So we count from the top clockwise. 1, 2, 3. This river heads off this way. Let's make a note of that. Traveled south 1 hour. 9 a.m. South from town. No encounter. All right. We're going to head towards south again, which means we're going to do the procedure all over again. So our current hex is plains. Let's roll a d12. Plains on a 5 is more plains. So this goes here like this. Let's check for vegetation. This was dense vegetation, dense forest. And on dense forest, it continues to be dense forest. So this is 12 miles of forest right here. This may in fact be the water. The previous was a river. Let's roll again. There is no water here. This rumor was not true. We have to verify this. No waterfall. It's 10 a.m. now. Oh, well, let's check for points of interest and such. Let's do that. Because there's no water, there can't be a waterfall. Let's check on a 1 on a d8. There's a thing, nothing here. 1 on a d6 is an encounter, nothing here. Okay. So Bjorn and Durif travel for 2 hours to the south, where they don't find water or a waterfall. It seems like that rumor may have been false. It's 10 a.m. South from the river. No waterfall spotted. It's 10 a.m. and they haven't found what they're looking for. Let's check both of their wisdoms again. The pastel is for Durif and the clear is for Bjorn. Clear, Bjorn. Bjorn doesn't know really what to do next, but Durif thinks perhaps they should follow the river and they might find that waterfall. So they're going to do that. Let's expand the map. And let's do our adventuring procedure here. First thing we're doing is rolling the d12. This is plains, which means that our new location are hills. Okay, okay, that's promising. Let's draw some hills. And hills are going to look like this. What's the vegetation like? This square was heavy vegetation. A 4 on dense is light forest. So we'll go back to the single tree icon. And now water. This hex didn't have water, but this river continues that way. I'm going to say that's a 2. And I'm going to say that's a river. And if there's hills here, then it makes sense that this river would originate from the hills. There's our waterfall. So the rumors about where it wasn't correct. It was over 6 miles. This is where it really is. No waterfall at original location. Let's make a note of that. But first let's check for everything else. On a 1 on the D8, there's something of interest here. Nothing of interest. And on a 1 on a d6, there's an encounter. Oh shit! There's an encounter. Okay. Let's make note of that, because that's interesting. The time is now 11 a.m. And they went from here northwest. Northwest. Found waterfall in hills. There's also an encounter though. Let's figure out this encounter. To do that, we're going to pull out the referee's tome here. Let's put us to the side and let's get this here. Now, this is a wilderness encounter. This is not a dungeon encounter. And we are currently in hills. So the first thing we do is we roll a d8. A 7. We go to table B, and we look at the monster section. We roll a d20. A Zorn. What the fuck is a Zorn? Let's go look. There's a picture of it. The Zorn is a 5-foot-tall, radially symmetric monster with powerful jaws atop their body and a clawed arm, a stumpy leg, and an eye on each of their 3 sides. They eat rare minerals, natives of the plane of elemental earth who venture to the material plane on occasion in search of food. How many are appearing? Let's figure that out. It says D4, so we'll need this guy. There are 3 Zorns. Let's make a note of that. We'll use Bjorn and Durif to keep track of this page right here, since they're waiting in eager anticipation. 3 Zorn. In the hills. Most likely looking for food. Minerals of some kind. Let's figure out what their reaction is. Is there a surprise? Let's do that first. This big one is going to be for our party. They get surprised on a 1 or a 2. And the Zorn gets surprised on a 1 or a 2. Our group is surprised by the Zorn. Let's figure out what their disposition is. And we'll go over here to the back. Uncertain, neutral. So our party of Bjorn and Durif probably come across this group of 3 Zorns that are prowling about the hills looking for food. And they're not immediately hostile. Let's take a look at our characters here. Bjorn and Durif aren't sure really what to make of it, but they're taken by surprise. They're surprised and they can't do anything. And these Zorn see them and probably stop eating what they're, or trying to find food. Let's make a morale check for them. Maybe they're spooked. Let's do that. If they're spooked, they run away. That would be the obvious thing. Let's see. Zorn. And they have a morale of 8. So we're going to roll 2d6. And if it rolls above an 8, they're spooked. The Zorn are not spooked of our players, so they continue to mill about there, ignoring them, essentially. Bjorn and Durif think that they should sit and observe, since the Zorn aren't immediately hostile. So they're going to wait 1 hour and see what the Zorn do. Let's make a note of that in our notes here. It's now noon, 12 p.m. Bjorn and Durif observe for 1 hour. All right. On a 1 or a 2, the Zorn do something else aside from what they're doing. Bjorn was not warned of the Zorn, correct. The Zorn is not attacking Bjorn. No, they're not attacking. It's funny, the way that I have to stream this, the phone is being held up by this tripod that's held onto the desk. So I can't actually see what you guys are saying, which is a shame. But no, Bjorn's not under attack by the Zorn. That might change in a second, though. On a 1 or a 2, the Zorn will change their behavior from looking for food. But on anything else, they're continuing what they're doing. The Zorn are continuing to eat and look for food there, which means that there might be a big mineral deposit there. Why don't we figure out what might be in the hills here that they're so interested in? We're going to take this guy and see if there's anything like that. Natural features and phenomena. No. Let's see. We want something that says what there might be there that the Zorn are interested in. Oh, here we go. Let's do that. We're going to grab this 30-sided die. We're going to give it a roll. And that's looking like a 7 to me. So we're in hills and 7, a crag. There must be some mineral formations along this crag, which is why the Zorn are there. I think that Bjorn and Durif would do best to leave here. Let's check to see what they want to do. Durif is very eager to get revenge on those heretics, to clear that out. Bjorn, he's only interested in really figuring out what happened with his brother. So we're going to check both of these guys here. The pastel is for Durif and the clear is for Bjorn. We're making intelligence checks to see what they're thinking of. If they succeed, they will continue with their motivation. You know, Bjorn will want to go find his brother, and Durif will want to clear out these heretics, which means that if Durif succeeds, he's going to want to attack the Zorn to get whatever treasures here, because he imagines it'll help out. But if Bjorn succeeds, he's going to want to go back to town and think of something else to go to this dungeon. He thinks that the best course of action would be to retreat. The pastel is for Durif. He succeeds. Durif wants to go here and fight the Zorn. However, a 9 on Bjorn means they also succeed. They're arguing now about what to do. And as they're arguing and yelling, we're going to roll another reaction for the Zorn. 5. Unfriendly may attack. The Zorn start hearing them shouting and turn their attention away from whatever it is they're eating in the crags, in the hills, and they start approaching. At that point, Bjorn makes the decision to leave, and he tells Durif if he wants to stay and fight, he can do it on his own. Let's check and see how Durif reacts to that. We're going to roll the d20, and we're going to roll Bjorn's charisma. Bjorn is very charismatic and convinces Durif to leave. So they head along the river back towards town before the Zorn can encounter them. The time is now 1 p.m. Let's make a note of that. 1 p.m. Party retreats. But I'm going to say there's a schism now between Durif and Bjorn. Durif loses respect for Bjorn. When they come back to this spot here, we have to check for an encounter on a 1 or a d6. Nothing. They're fine. And one more, and they're back at town. 2 p.m. Arrive back in town. So at this point, they're back in town, and Durif is not happy at all about how things went down. We're going to roll a reaction for him. He's uncertain if he wants to continue adventuring with Bjorn. And Bjorn kind of, he doesn't want to have to search for a new person, asks him what it would take for him to continue adventuring with him. And Durif thinks the only way he'd consider staying is if he gets a bigger cut of whatever treasure's there. Let's see if Bjorn agrees to that. A 7. We're going to roll again. They continue to talk. Heated conversations. Through long discussions. Oh my God. They're not getting anywhere. They're arguing. Bjorn doesn't think that he deserves more treasure. Nor is Durif backing down on this. It seems that we're at an impasse. And at that point, after how many rolls was that? Was that 4 rolls? At 6 p.m., after discussing for 4 hours, Bjorn is not willing to give Durif more of the treasure than he thinks he deserves. And Durif is not convinced to stay. Durif leaves the party. We're going to take Durif and we're going to stick him back in the roster. Which means we got to pick a new person. Let's roll a d6. 5. Bjorn is looking for new people to go with him into this adventure. 1, 2, 3. And looks like we're going to have to shuffle through them again. 4, 5. The drow cleric Linlith shows up in the tavern. Why don't we figure out what her motivation is? Why don't we do that? Let's go here. And here's a list of our motivations. Let's roll this 30-sided die. A 12. Linlith is trying to impress somebody. Let's write that down on her sheet. We're going to say she's trying to impress the leader of her drow sect. Impress drow leader. She had heard rumors that somewhere around here there was a dungeon where these giant beetles were being seen. She thinks that if she can kill one and bring its body back to her leader, he will be totally impressed. We're going to skip a day here because it's too late to go adventuring, which means we are now on day, I believe it's 7? Day 7. At 8 a.m. Let's make a note that at 6 p.m. Durif leaves the party, but Linlith joins. Bjorn and Linlith decide to go into that dungeon, and he's going to help her get one of these beetles back. Since he can't seem to make any headway on his own quest, this is at least going to allow him to get back into that dungeon and get some kind of revenge for his brother. So we're traveling towards the dungeon now. We're going to move here, and on a 1 on a d6, there's an encounter along the way. No encounter. So at that point, they reach the bandit lair. And they've gone down the stairs into this hallway here, where the garbage room is, and the abandoned lab is. Let's roll. Upon going down. Oh, Bjorn has a torch. Let's light that. Let's keep track of that. We're in the dungeon at 9 a.m. Dungeon turns begin. Dungeon turns. And this is torch right here. So that's our first 10 minutes in the dungeon. He's lit his torch. And Bjorn's been here before. He remembers where those beetles are. We're traveling over here. And then from here to 3 is another 10 minutes. And that provokes a wandering check. On a 1 or a 2, they encounter something. There's nothing here. But last time they were here, there were beetles in this fire pit. Linlith can see the tracks of the beetles. She sees the evidence that they've been here. And she sees the tracks going towards this portcullis. They're going to check out that portcullis. Bjorn makes a strength check to see if he can force open that portcullis, but it'll take him a good while to do it. Let's see. A strength check to open things, open doors. 2 and 6 with his strength of 12. So we'll do this. And Linlith as well is going to help him out. After 10 minutes, they can't force it open. Let's see if the noise they're making provokes any incoming attention. No. Linlith thinks that perhaps it's best if they look around for something to help them open up that portcullis, since that's the only direction that remains. They head to the south and they go to 9, where this shrine is, with that 4,000 electrum. Now, they didn't manage to get out with that electrum. They didn't get any of it, actually. They just managed to get 16 coins each. Because once again, they didn't come with things to take this treasure with. So they're filling their pockets once again with electrum pieces. We'll mark down that this has been 40 minutes now. And they are filling their pockets with, what is this, 6? We'll write down 12 electrum each. 12 EP coins in pockets. I should write down every second turn is a wandering monster check, so which means we have to check once they're in here. The 2 is an encounter. Now, I know we have beetles and bandits. On a 1, that's a beetle. On a 2, 1 is a bandit, 2 is a fire beetle. So we're going to roll this, and if it's neither of those things, it's something new. It is something new in this dungeon. Let's go here and pull out the dungeon encounter table. Here we go. And this is the first level of this dungeon, which means we roll a d4 and a d10. A 1 and a 4. Berserkers. 4 of them. Oh, just one. One berserker. Let's write that down. Encounter. 1 berserker. Let's read about berserkers to figure out what's going on with them. Fighters who enter a rage in battle. They never take prisoners. Let's see how they react. 9. Indifferent. Uninterested. Okay. The berserker comes in to see Bjorn and Linlith, putting their hands in their pockets with coins from the shrine, and he passes by them completely, heading towards the south. Bjorn and Linlith are curious and follow after him to 8. The berserker there is at the armory, and he picks up that chest and he starts to walk towards the portcullis, once again ignoring Bjorn and Linlith. Linlith thinks it would probably be in their best interest to take that gold, since it's probably stolen. It's illicit goods from the bandits. And before she can finish even thinking that, Bjorn, in his frustration, pulls his sword out. Let's get a combat going here. This has to stay here. This has to stay here. Let's pull out our little spot here. Let's get this markers. And let's try and draw a representation of this. So, this is that doorway to the north. 1, 2, 3. This goes 10, 20, 30 out that way. And then 10, 20. And this means it'll be like this. Yeah, this is what that fight looks like right here. Let's get tokens to represent what's going on here. I recently upgraded to this little carrying thing from Walmart. It's like $2, man. This thing has saved so much room in my gaming carry-ons, I guess. Bjorn is going to be white, and Linlith is going to be orange. And this berserker, only have one of him. It's double-sided, by the way. That's fucking baller. We'll take one of these. So now we're rolling initiative, and since it's Bjorn who started this fight, we're rolling off his initiative. This is for our party here, and this is for the berserker. Bjorn gets a +1. A 5, but the berserker goes first. He was faster than our players. Let's take a look at what this berserker does. Let's see. He gets a +1 to his attack. So we're going to roll and try to see if he hits Bjorn. A 7 does not hit Bjorn with his armor class of 14. That'll be the end of his turn. Bjorn comes up and he's not playing around. He's had enough. Like, today sucked. Yesterday sucked. Someone has to pay for it. We're rolling a d20. And we're going to see if he hits this berserker. Dice that fall off the table do not count. Let's see. A 3 certainly doesn't hit. Now it's Linlith's turn, and Linlith, being a drow cleric, can cast naturally light or darkness. So I believe she's going to cast darkness on this berserker's eyes to blind him. Let's make sure that we're doing that right. Let's see. Spells. Here we go. And we want light and darkness. Let's take a look at that. That's a first level spell. Light. Okay. By casting the spell upon its eyes, if the target fails a saving throw versus spells, it is blinded. A blind creature cannot attack. And darkness can be used to do that. So our drow is casting darkness on this berserker. Let's see what kind of saving throw they get. The berserker has a spell saving throw of 16, which means they get a roll and they have to get 16 or higher, and they don't. This berserker is blind. We're going to put a token on him to show and remember that he's blind. We'll just use this right here. Berserker's blind. He can't attack. On the berserker's turn, he just swings wildly, but he misses because he cannot see them, and he misses all his attacks. So now Bjorn and Linlith get attacks on him. We'll just roll them both at the same time. We'll say that the pastel is not Bjorn. Linlith. And this is Bjorn right here. Linlith hits with her staff. A critical hit, dealing 2d4 damage now. We'll get 2 of these dice. She does a total of 7 damage with her staff. And as I think I recall, the berserker has 1 hit die plus 1. So we're going to roll this and add 1. 7. Exactly what was needed to take down that berserker. Linlith lays the finishing blow on the berserker. And he drops the chest. She quickly tells Bjorn to help her pick up the chest so they can escape with it. And Bjorn, satisfied finally that he's brought some measure of justice to these inhabitants, agrees. Let's put these guys back here for now. And let's get back to the dungeon. We'll put these dice here so we have more room. Now they're carrying this chest full of 300 gold. And they go to the north. And Linlith says, wait, what if we dump out all the gold pieces and fill it with electrum instead? And Bjorn smiles and says, I like the way you think. So they come to the shrine, they empty out the chest of 300 gold, and they fill it to the brim with electrum pieces. I'm not sure exactly how much a chest can hold, but we're going to look. What if we say that a chest holds as much as a large sack? That would be fair, I think. Large sack can hold up to 600 coins. So they dump out all of the electrum pieces in that chest. We're going to remove that now. And they're taking 600 electrum pieces. So we're going to reduce the amount of electrum here from 4,000. It's probably a little less because of the coins that they're pocketing. And we're going to put 3,400 electrum. Now they have a chest full of electrum pieces, but they have to get out with it. It's not over quite yet. They head over here. We should keep track of time. So that was 20 minutes that have gone by. When they got to here, we have to make a wandering monster check. On a 1 or 2. Nothing. They come up to here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The torch has gone out and they get to here. And Bjorn lights a new torch. He's down to 3 torches. They head over to 2. We check for another wandering monster. Nothing. They're safe. And they get out. They leave the bandit lair after spending an hour and 30 minutes in it. Back to the surface. And they think they should head back to town with the treasures they gotten. We roll to check if there's a counter along the way, and there's not. Congratulations, they managed to get out with a chest full of electrum pieces. Let's calculate the experience from this. So, as we know, electrum is worth 2 gold for 1. So that's not worth just 600, that's 12,000. Which means each of these characters gets 600 experience. Bjorn is now at 706 experience from previous adventures. And Linlith is at 600 experience currently. Just from that chest. The berserker they killed will also be worth experience. Thankfully, this is the easy part. They just have a number and you split it in half by the number of people there are. XP 19, which means that it would be around 9.5. So we'll just make that 10 each. We'll round up. Why not? Which means Linlith is at 610 experience and Bjorn is at 716 experience. They split the coins with each other. Each of them ends up with 600 gold pieces after money changing. And they spend the evening in the tavern wasting all that money on food and drinks and good times. So the time is now, let's see, they go back to the surface at 10:30. Leave dungeon. Head to town. And arrive back at town on day 7 at 11:30 a.m. Arrive at town. Chest full of 600 EP. All right. That will be today's adventure. No one has perished, and they managed to get away with a little bit more treasure. They found this area here with this waterfall, with this chest that may have magic items, but there are Zorn that are milling about it. So that is something for them to consider another day. All right, guys. That'll be it. Tune in for the next episode in the future.